Hello students, welcome to the next session of SST. Today I am here with a new topic of history: when, where and how. The significance of studying history in our day-to-day life is to know the interconnections between the past and the present. So students, what is history? The word history is derived from the Greek word historia, which means inquiry or investigation into the past. History is the past record of people, places, and events. The order of arranging the events that happened first, followed by events that happened later, is called chronology. History allows us a chance to understand how people lived, dressed, ate, and functioned many years ago. History is not just about kings and heroes. It is about humankind and its growth. It helps us to know how, why, when, and where things happened. It helps us to learn lessons from the past and thus makes our future better. The famous Greek historian Herodotus is regarded as the father of history. He was the first historian known to collect historical materials systematically and arrange them in a well-constructed narrative. Now students, why do we study the past? What is the importance of study the past? History answers many questions about the past, like how our ancestors evolved, how did agriculture begin, what were the food habits of people in olden days, and so on. Studying the past is important because we get to know how, where, and when our early ancestors appeared, how agriculture, irrigation, and animal husbandry began. We come to know about many great kings, queens, leaders, as well as ordinary people who have contributed to our culture and civilization. We get to know how writing developed, how the languages that we speak today came into existence. History also helps us to understand how beliefs and ideas came into being and influenced the course of history. Now students, I am going to discuss with you the period and periodization of history. Historians have divided the past into two broad periods: prehistory and history. So, what is prehistory? Prehistory is the long period of human evolution before the invention of writing. The prehistoric period is the part of the past for which there are no written records. Humans at this time were hunters and gatherers, and therefore did not lead a settled life. To understand prehistory, archaeologists dig deep into the ground and learn about life in the past from the archaeological remains they find. These remains could be coins, tools, jewelry, pots, bones, monuments, or buildings. On the other hand, history is the period of the past that comes after the invention of writing. Therefore, for the historical period, there are written records. The earliest writing was in the form of drawings seen in many caves. Later, people wrote on pillars, rocks, palm leaves, clay tablets, and barks of the birch tree. Now, students, how do we study the past? Many people, like historians, archaeologists, anthropologists, zoologists, geologists, these people help to know about things that happened long ago with the help of sources. Historians and archaeologists are scholars who study our past using various sources and methods. The archaeologist excavates sites of ancient and medieval civilizations and examine the remains of their buildings, tools, and other objects and interpret them for us. Now, students, what are the sources of history? There are two sources of history: archaeological sources and literary sources. So, first I am going to discuss with you archaeological sources of history. Archaeological sources or material remains of people who lived in the past, such as buildings, houses, pots and pans, monuments, coins, tools, writings on stone walls, and pieces of metal plates and food remains help in reconstructing the past. Even burial sites are archaeological sources. Archaeological sources helps us to reconstruct the history of a period for which we have no written records. That is called prehistorical period. Now, students, archaeological sources can be divided as inscriptions and edicts, monuments, coins, artifacts, and other objects. So, first I am going to discuss with you what are inscriptions and edicts. Inscriptions are writings engraved on rocks, pillars, cave walls, walls of forts, palaces, and temples, and on clay and copper tablet. They tell us names and dates of kings, the extent of their empires, and important events during their reign. They also provide information on society as well as the religious and cultural practices of people. For example, the Ashokan inscriptions help us in ascertaining the principles of his Dhamma and the extent of his empire. Inscriptions are reliable sources of history as they come to us in their original form. The study of inscriptions is known as epigraphy. Monuments. Old buildings of historical importance are known as monuments. They give information about people, their social life, religious beliefs, and culture. The ruins of temples, forts, palaces, stupas, and residential complexes are some monuments that make the past come alive. The stupas and temples built by Ashoka and the Gupta dynasty, respectively, are important sources of history. Coins, artifacts, and other objects are the sources of archaeological sources of history. Archaeologists have found a large number of objects such as coins, tools, weapons, pots, statues, seals, paintings, and jewelry belonging to different periods of history. They shed valuable light on the progress of human civilization. The study of coins is called numismatics. Coins are important as they help in fixing the dates or several dynasties and also tell us about the religious and cultural practices of the people who issued them. For example, the coins issued by Samudragupta tell us that he was a devotee of Vishnu and that he was fond of music. The metal or alloy they used to make these coins tells us about the scientific advancement made during that period. Coins were made of gold, silver, copper, and other materials too. Now, students, I am going to discuss with you literary sources. Literary sources include all kinds of literature, long and short, written and oral. People recorded events and wrote by hand. These handwritten records are known as manuscripts. They were written on rocks, palm leaves, bark of birch trees, clay tablets, and later on paper. The other forms of literary sources available to historians are books, religious texts, accounts of foreign travelers, and biographies. Even oral history is considered as a record. Literary sources are of two types, religious and secular. First, I am going to discuss with you religious literature. Vedic literature, which comprises the four Vedas, Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, and Athar Veda. The two epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita and the Puranas. The Puranas not only contain information on early religious practices but also throw light on the social, economic, and political life of the people. So, all these religious sources are very important to understand history. Now, students, secular literature, books or texts that are not of religious nature are known as secular literature. Biographies, autobiographies, and court chronicles comprise secular literature. Books such as the Kautilya's Arthashastra contain guidelines on how to run the government. Banbhatta wrote the Harshcharita, which gives information about King Harshvardhana, his conquests, and his administration. A number of foreign travelers, Greeks, Romans, Chinese, and Arabs visited India from time to time and left valuable accounts about the people, their lifestyles, customs, and traditions. Megasthenes, the Greek ambassador to the court of Chandragupta Maurya, wrote the Indica, which gives an account of Mauryan administration and the society. Similarly, two Chinese travelers, Fahian and Zhuangzhang, came to India to study Buddhism and wrote about their experiences here. Now, students, geographical location also helps to understand history. Geographical also played a vital role in shaping the history of the world and India. It determines how a particular area develops. In ancient times, people chose to live near rivers such as the Indus, Ganga, and Narmada. This was because the river provided water for people's needs. The land near it was fertile for irrigation, and it also served as a means of transport. So, the geography of India brought about some of the most significant events in our history, which we are going to study in our next sessions. So, students, in this session, I discuss with you what is history, what is the importance of studying history, what are the sources of history. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching the video. Goodbye. Hello students, welcome to the next